Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back. This is a weekly show we do here on the Dice Tower where I take a look at reviews that I did 1, 5, 10, and then 20 years ago. And I tell you what I think about those games, if I think about them at all. So let's go back 20 years ago to the year 2004, and I reviewed a game called Civil War 2061, which was, I guess, since I'm talking about this in 2024, this came out with a movie about the Civil War in America. And this one here has this idea, yeah, it's a future, America's broken up into different factions. It was okay. I give it a 6 out of 10. I don't know that I would ever go back and look at it again. I like the idea. I wouldn't mind a bigger, more grandiose game on the subject. 10 years ago, I reviewed Slash, Romance Without Boundaries. This is based on Slash fiction. Now, I kept the game for a long time, mostly because I like to just pull out the cards and bother my co-host, Eric, by asking him to make up romantic stories about the different people, but really, I have no interest in this theme at all. 4 out of 10. Mad Cow, however you pronounce it. So this is based on Maui or Cow. It's just basically where the rules of the game are constantly changing. This is not one that I really want to play. I can see its appeal for some people, but 5 out of 10 for me. Mount Everest was the sequel to K2. K2 from Rebel Games got a lot of popularity. And I actually played Mount Everest first, I think, and then played K2. They're both fine games. The idea of getting up the mountain and getting down, and there's some interesting ideas. It just didn't grab me as much as I wanted. It was fine. 6 out of 10. Legends and Lies. This is from Diane Sawyer, the board game designer. Cryptids. That's what it's about, finding cryptids and stuff. And again, it's kind of it's an okay game. 6 out of 10. Dungeon Dice. I really like the concept of this game where you're rolling dice, fighting monsters. It's kind of a condensed game. This company I don't think exists anymore. I was hoping to see more from them. As is, the game is almost there, a 6.5. Snorta, which has been re-released from Quackadoodle Moo, I believe, from Mattel or Hasbro, one of those two. Out of the box publishing, this is one of the last great games that they did. Silly party-style game. Not going to work in every situation where you're making animal noises and there's some memory involved, but it's okay, 6.5. And then Timeline. Talk about a party game that I just find to be so simple and interesting. Sticking cards into a timeline, remembering where they go. I like it a lot, 8 out of 10. 5 years ago, one of my favorite designers, John DeClaire, made a game I hate. 4 out of 10 for Downfall. So Downfall is a game where everything's going wrong. There is plague and nuclear waste and stuff in the future, and it's too much going on, and it's a little mean. If you want to play a game where things just go from bad to worse to worse to worse, and it's a competitive game, it's not a cooperative game. There's a lot in this game. There's some interesting ideas and some concepts in the game. John DeClaire has really cool concepts. They just did not come together. This game, I think, is just a sludge. I played Archmage. 6.5, almost there. Casting spells, controlling areas of the board. There's a lot of neat concepts. It's still a little bit more abstract than I want it to be. Zombicide Invader, which I was messing with Zombicide Invader just a couple days ago because I'm using the heroes from Zombicide Invader in Project Elite. But Zombicide Invader is a nice version, a newer, updated version of Zombicide. I still don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty good. This is a space version of it, 7 out of 10. Copenhagen. This is a game where you're building things, and I personally really like the acrylic tile version that Queen did of this game. It's a nice entry point. Collect cards, use them to build up your little skyscraper. 7 out of 10. And Creatures and Cupcakes. This is a game from Social Sloth, which for a while was Gray Fox's kid imprint. I don't know if they're still doing that or anything. This is a very, very, very young kids game, and it works well for that. 7 out of 10. And then last year, I reviewed Super Truffle Pigs from Bicycle, the card company. And they've made some pretty decent, games for people new to the hobby. This one is just too random and chaotic for me to want to play it. 5 out of 10. Moesteria, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. I apologize. But this game from Pythagoras about building a city together. Some really interesting back and forth concepts. I wish it looked better like their current slate of games, but it still is pretty good, 7 out of 10. Rome in a Day. This is an I Split You Choose style game. And if you like that style game, I think this one it fits in there. It's good. Chris really likes this game, but I think it's also pretty good. 7 out of 10. Virtu, this one kind of surprised me from Super Meeple. This is a fairly hefty game in which how you play cards and the different ways you can play cards and getting cards. There's so many back and forth. It's very interactive. I like it a lot. 8 out of 10. And Caldera Park, which is the sequel to Savannah. I like Caldera Park. Think of a placement game, but with a bingo-esque theme. I find that to be very enjoyable, and I think this one was better than the first game in this series. And so another 8 out of 10. And there you go, folks. Those are the games I reviewed 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel. This has been Look Back on the Dice Tower.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.